Namaram Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nevasheshi Shunyavadi Praskachai Dasa Tarini. Om Ajnanatamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshmanatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Didanti Sambadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapatakamalong Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vidamtam Shajivam Sadvaitam Sadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Bedam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishavitam Sya Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kansha Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhya Shakripasandubhya Vacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Bande Rup Sanatano Raghulia Go Shri Jiva Gopala Go Shri Rup Shri Sanatano Bhatta Raghuna Shri Jiva Gopala Dasa Raghunath H.I. Guru Karan Vandanam Ya Hoite Vignasa Vistaparam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So on Sunday was the divine disappearance, Tirubhav, of two great Vaishnavas, Vamsidasa Babaji Maharaj and Raghunandan Thakur. So I was just reading, one of the acharyas said, if we don't respect the appearance and disappearance days of these Vaishnavas, it's actually an offense. It was quite strong. He said it's actually an offense. So we have our Vaishnava calendar, so we should look on it and highlight. And on those particular days, we try to read about that personality. So we'll just glorify them a little. Raghunandan Thakur was the son of Mukunda. So there's Mukunda Dat, that's different. Then there's Mukunda. So Mukunda was a physician, and he had two brothers, Madhava and Narahari Sarakara. Narahari Sakara. So his son was the illustrious Raghunandana Thakur. So you probably heard the story. I'll just go over it very briefly. That Mukunda was living with his wife and Raghunandana and was called away. Well, he was a doctor. Even he used to see the Muslim emperor at that time. So he asked his son, who was, I think, about 5 years old, you must do the puja to the deity, Gopal. And when the boga is cooked by my wife, you will take it on the plate and you will put it in front of the deity, Gopal. And you must make sure that Gopal eats it all. So you must really pray. So Raghunandana, he's a young boy. And he'd just seen his father ring the bell and do this and that. So he took the prasad and he put it in front of the deity of Gopal. And then he prayed and prayed and prayed, come and take, come and take. And the food, still called boga, it was still there. So the boy thought, well, he's obviously not listening to me and I'm not praying hard enough. And so he prayed even harder. Tears. This is the price for obtaining Krishna or Gopal. Tears. So we're continuing. One has to cry. Tatra loyam eka mulam ekalam. Tatra loyam api mulam ekalam. The price, the only price, ekalam, price mulam, is loyam, intense greed, intense eagerness, intense enthusiasm, no impatience. You just want, you want, you want. Vrindavan, you want Krishna's lotus feet, Radharani's lotus feet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Therefore this verse, Tatra, therefore loyam. Loyam or lobha, intense greed, intense wanting, like you've never wanted before. You're drowning and all you can think of is air. You can't think of your children or family, you're just air. So times that now by 1,000,000. And that's the type of enthusiasm, beyond enthusiasm, samudkanta, beyond that. Very intense. So this boy had this. And why did he have it? Because in the Gauragana Sarup by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, it's mentioned that Kandapa Manjari entered into this young Raghunandana Thakur. Yeah. And also Pradyumna entered into him. Sometimes we talk about split personalities. That's in the material world. And it's referred to as schizophrenia or multiple personality disorders. That's right. I think schizophrenia is a somewhat offensive. Now it's multiple disorder personalities. Yeah. So in the spiritual realm, within this material world, these associates of Lord Chaitanya, many great personalities from Vrindavan can enter into them. So Pradyumna, of course, is from Dwarka, and he's in Dasyaras, reverential. And, but he's also Cupid. So therefore, they've said Kandapa Manjari, young gopi, entered also influenced. They wouldn't have influenced at the same time. It's like you have personality disorders. So Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they're not together. It's one for some hours, and then it's maybe another. Yeah. So Gopal ate all the prasad and left nothing. And Mukunda came back. Who entered into Mukunda? I think it was Brinda Devi. So these are all great personalities. So Mukunda came back and asked, well, give me some prasad remnants. And Gopal and Raghunandan Thakur said, well, there's nothing left. Gopal ate it all. So then Mukunda thought, now, is he lying? Or did some animal come and eat it? And he thought, no, my son is very truthful. He's only 5 years old. He doesn't know about diplomacy and politics, which we all learn about later on. He's just being honest, like a 5-year-old kid. This is quite interesting because This is a secret. But sometimes I would go to devotees' houses, and of course the devotees, grihastha families, would be on best behavior, and the mother would be dressed with a sari, and the father very nicely with tilak, and they're looking really nice. So when they weren't around, some or other, I'd ask the young child, 6, 7 years old, so what does mummy look at? And he'd say, oh, Hindi movies. And then I say, what's in the fridge? And they'd tell me what's in the fridge. And that's how I'd find out the truth. And there's a nice story, my godbrother, Badri Narayan Maharaj, who left his body just recently in Vrindavan, a great soul, GBC member, and he really served Prabhupada. So he told me, or he said a story, that he had 2 daughters. And he brought his daughters, they were young, to his parents' house. And the young daughters were very innocent, and they were chanting, and they didn't know what was sinful activity, or they didn't even know. And the mother opened the fridge, and in the fridge was meat. And the girls started crying. And they said, oh, illicit sex. Illicit sex. They didn't know, which principle is which. So the parents got so taken back, I think they started following more strictly. Anyhow, Bhakti Narayan has many wonderful stories. And so Mukunda, getting back to, he thought, let me just test my son. So I'll make an excuse that I'm going, and I'll ask him again to offer the prasad. So he made an excuse, and then he doubled back, and he hid in the temple room. Some or other he hid. And Raghunandan Thakur took the plate and offered it, and the same thing. He started weeping, and he started begging, and started crying, and Gopal actually came and started eating it. And Mukunda was amazed, because you don't expect a deity to get off the altar and start eating. So Mukunda was flabbergasted, and he became very ecstatic. And at that point, the deity saw Mukunda and froze. And at that point, he had a laddu in his hand. But his hand just froze. Some or other, he was back on the altar, and he didn't put it to his mouth, but he didn't put it down either. So then Mukunda was overwhelmed that his son could have such a, it's called Sakshat Darshan, Darshan of the Lord, and embraced him. And so this is Raghunandan Thakur, not an ordinary jiva. And we know that Kandapa Manjari entered into him, eternal associates of the Lord. So Vamsidasa Babaji Maharaj, of course, is very difficult to talk about because he's an avadut. And he didn't follow any social restrictions. Therefore, he was naked, except for the Brahmin underwear. And there's only 2 pictures of him. I remember when I first saw a picture of him on an altar in Vrindavan, and couldn't figure out who it was. I thought it reminded me of Bob Marley, who was a reggae star, but I couldn't. Then I realized, no, this is Vamsidasa. So Avadut, naked, never took a bath, never cut his hair, and on one period, when he was going to Jagannath Puri, and he was being served by Jati Shekhar Prabhu for 3 months. Jati Shekhar Prabhu, a bona fide disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, says he never saw him pass stool, never saw him sleep, never saw him pass urine. So really living in another world. And he had his deities, Gaur Gadadhar, I think Gopal, and he was very much in Vatsalya Ras, which is quite unusual in our particular sampradaya, but he wasn't really in our sampradaya, as it were. He was just, avadut means beyond rules, beyond regulations, and not to be imitated either. You can't go around naked. There's no picture of him with a bead bag, because he's always chanting Krishna's name and thinking of Laddu Gopal in his mind. So he didn't have to do like a fixed number, as it were. Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj also would sometimes go naked. So Vamsidasa, great devotee, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur deeply respected him and would send bhoga for him through his disciples when Vamsidasa was staying in the Navadvip area. But sometimes Vamsidasa would thank them, sometimes he would just stare at them, sometimes he would shout at them, sometimes he'd throw the food into the Ganges. You didn't know what to expect because these are sanchari bhavs. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was afraid that his disciples may be offensive. Yeah. There's two dangers. We see a Vaishnava and we think he's more advanced than he really is. So that's a danger because you put faith in him and he may, we say, somewhat take advantage of you. This is Kanishta Bhakta. Or you see a Vaishnava and he's very advanced, like Vamsidasa, but you don't think he's very advanced. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said one of the characteristics of a Kanishta Bhakta is to offend or not to realize an Uttama Bhagavad. This is one of the characteristics of a Kanishta Bhakta. They can't recognize. And even a beginning Madhyam can't really recognize. I've heard from acharyas, you have to be like a Madhyam, and then you can realize more. We have the wonderful example of Gadadhar Pandit being introduced to Pundarika Vidyanidhi. So this, of course, is divine Leela, it's Yogamaya. And it's not Mahamaya. For us, it's Mahamaya. So Mukunda took Gadadhar Pandit to see Pundarika Vidyanidhi. And Mukunda, he knew how exalted Pundarika Vidyanidhi is. So Gadadhar Pandit, of course, is the Radharani herself, the internal pleasure-giving potency. She entered into Gadadhar Pandit. And Pundarika Vidyanidhi, Vrishabhanu Maharaj entered into him. So we have the same thing playing out in Gaur Leela, Radharani meeting her father, Gadadhar Pandit meeting Pundarika Vidyanidhi. But Pundarika Vidyanidhi was presenting himself as a enjoyer, apparently sitting on very beautiful bedsteads, silk, and possibly even hookah pipes, I'm not sure, but jewelry. And Gadadhar Pandit saw him and was very confused. Again, Yogamaya now. So he had some negative thoughts, which is quite natural, negative thoughts. And then Mukunda, he realized this, and Mukunda quoted a verse, glorifying Mother Yasoda, glorifying Lord Krishna, how he delivered Putana, and although Putana came as a asura or demon, he gave Putana the same position as Mother Yasoda, Vatsalya Ras. That's in Krishna's Prakat Leela 5,000 years ago. So when Pundarika Vidyanidhi heard this verse, he immediately developed Sattvika Astika bhavs, and not in a preliminary stage, Dumita, or Jwalita, or Deepta, but Sudipta, Udipta, extremely profound Sattvika Astika bhavs, pulling his hair, weeping, crying, falling on the ground, screaming, bodily colors changing, voice choked up. So then Gadadhar Pandit realized that he's exceptionally advanced and I've made a mistake. So then Gadadhar Pandit thought, how can I rectify? So this is also a good point. When you feel you've offended a Vaishnav, if you feel you've offended, then you pray to Krishna and you try to take an opportunity to serve that Vaishnav, glorifying him in front of others, or perhaps buying him or her a present, flowers, or making a flower garland. But glorifying is the best. Yeah, if you've said something, bad words, nindu, sadhu nindu, then use the same mouth to glorify. Yeah. And if you said to 2 or 3 people, then you glorify him in front of 2 or 3 people. So Gadadhar Pandit thought, how can I atone? Now, a Vaishnava doesn't actually have to atone. It's called prayaschita, by doing sacrifices and this and that. All he has to do is chant Krishna's name. But Gadadhar Pandit set the example and thought, I haven't accepted initiation. Let me accept initiation, diksha, formal initiation from this great soul. So he asked, and Pundarika Vidyanidhi agreed, and on an auspicious day, Pundarika Vidyanidhi granted him diksha initiation. Yeah. So we can learn from these great Vaishnavas. So in conclusion, you have your calendar. It's on your computer, it's on your phone. Look at the appearance and disappearance days. Right, shortly as Rupa Goswami's disappearance day. Then write it down in your diary, put it on a sticker or something, and try to read a little bit about that personality. Look it up on the folio. Try to hear something about that personality. And pray to that personality. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Vamsidasa Babaji Maharajati Namine. You can pray like that. And then you think, what did Vamsidasa Babaji Maharaj have? Intense affection for Krishna. Let me also have that intense affection. The affection that Raghunandan Thakur had, Rupa Goswami has for Radha and Krishna. I pray that that can also come to me. So in conclusion, take seriously these appearance days, disappearance days. And gradually, we'll go from Namaparat to Namabas. Namabas is amazing. Even Namaparat is very good, something. And then Shuddhanam. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Shuddhanam begins, obviously in Yabila Sita Sunyam, when you've given up all material desires, philosophical speculation, fruitive activities, but also when you begin, I use the word begin, to realize what is your attraction for Krishna, either in Vaikuntha Bhav, Ayodhya Bhav, Ramchandra, Dwaka Bhav, like Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Uddhava, or in Braja Bhakti, cowhead boys, Mother Yasoda, or gopis. When you begin to develop a hankering or some attraction, yeah. And then, of course, things really begin to fall in place, and this conception becomes stronger and stronger as you continue practicing sadhana bhakti. That's how your bhakti goes from Vaidhi sadhana bhakti to Raganuga sadhana bhakti. But step by step, Rome was not built in one day, step by step. And we can't artificially jump. This is Sahajiya Bhav. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that an overemphasis on Krishna's Madhurya pastimes, like Rasa Leela, with a lack of understanding Sambandhana Gyan, or basic relationships of Guru Tattva, Maya Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Nam Tattva, indicates or can bring about a little bit of a Sahajiya Bhav. So we have to be very careful about that. But on the other hand, we want to go forward. So there has to be some balance. And Lord, so this balance can be achieved by direction from one's own Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru. And if one is able to come in contact with the Rasik Vaishnav, then this would be even more preferable. And if somehow or other one is not able to do that, but one also wants to go in this direction, Radharani, through her expansions as Brinda Devi and Tulsi Devi, they will arrange. They will arrange everything. Bhakti Devi will arrange everything. All you have to do is be sincere. There's a joke. All you have to do is be sincere. And when you've learned how to fake that, you can achieve anything you want. That's a joke. So sincere means to be free from pretension and deceit. We should not pretend. I'm more than what I am. I should be honored. I should be respected. I was initiated so many years ago, 25 years ago, on the 1st of September in the morning. And you were initiated on the same day, but in the afternoon. So I'm 3 hours senior to you. We can't pretend. And deceit. It's the same type of thing, being duplicitous. That's regarding ourselves. So we should also be careful in that regard. And Srila Prabhupada is introduced into ISKCON many Vrindavan elements. For example, the worship of Tulsi Devi. And if you think about the English translation or Russian translation, to the Tulsi prayer and memorize it. It's a very high prayer to become a follower of Radharani. And we're saying it every day. So that is your Vrindavan mood. And then hearing the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Krishna book. That again, that's Braja Bhakti, if you're hearing it in the right consciousness. And then the worship of Radha and Krishna and the way the Vaishnavas dress Radha and Krishna. It's so beautiful how Krishna is dressed, how Radharani is dressed with those flowing clothes, garlands. Very, very beautiful. Immediately you think of Radha and Krishna. You don't think of Lakshmi Narayan so much. And then we have festivals like Kartik, where we're talking about Krishna's pastimes. And then, of course, we can go to Vrindavan and Navadvip, which is hidden Vrindavan, Gupta Vrindavan. We can go to Puri. So there's many aspects that Prabhupada has very nicely introduced into our Krishna consciousness. So thank you so much. We will pray to Raghunandan Thakur. We will pray to Vamsidasa Babaji Maharaj. We will pray to Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance on Saturday. We will pray to Gauridas Pandit, who is Subal, Sakuras, also his disappearance on Saturday. We shall pray to Srila Prabhupada's disciples and grand disciples, and then pray to Srila Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Gokishore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Jagannath, 6 Goswamis, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda and Panchatattva. Gau Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.